What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today, and what an exciting day it is. So I have been lucky enough to get my hands on some early access beta 18 OEM stuff, and it's very limited, my ad. I literally have the YZ125 only, and that's it, but probably for a good reason. Otherwise I could probably see myself just grinding away on the new bikes until Supercross starts, but I digress. So the whole point of this video is really a little bit of a showcase slash comparison of the beta 17 125 versus the beta 18 one, and there has been so many changes, it's unreal. Like, the gameplay itself is completely different to what it would be on beta 17. So first of all, I'm going to go through some of the like screenshots that I've taken in game and compare side by side between the 17 OEM and the 18 OEM just in the pits, in the settings side of things. And I just do want to mention that for the purpose of this video, I have a model swap on the beta 17 bike just to make it a bit more obvious between the two, because they are very similar, if not the same model. So straight off the bat, we have got, on this version that I've got, there is the same amount of tyres. However, I've been told that these are only some. There will be more, and all of the traction has all been completely overhauled for the new tyres as well. And I just want to say that sand feels bloody incredible, by the way, on these tyres. It's absolutely amazing. So on the first general tab here, you can see we've got an additional rear disc option, and that is as far as differences on the general side of things. Moving over a little bit further, if we go across to the suspension, you can see that the default suspension is actually different from one to the other. Now, I'm not sure if it is solely the suspension inputs here or all of the different changes they've made to weight and such, but you'll see a bit later on track just how good the bike feels and how planted it is around the track. It handles bumps extremely well. The drivetrain tab has changed ever so slightly, so now the speeds in each individual gear are ever so slightly different, and this ties in with the engine curve itself being different now from 17 to 18. And then if we skip over to other, we now have different engine mappings as well, which is really nice. And Jesse, that's been speaking to me about this, he's said that all of the two-strokes in the game, the engine curves have been drastically changed, and they've got multiple curves as well. So I'm guessing this is exactly what it means here. In regards to the mapping, you can choose between 2021 or 2022. So everything's been rebuilt from the ground up to try and replicate life as close as possible, and it includes things like engine characteristics, weight distribution, inertia, and so on. And straight off the bat, when I hopped from 17 over to 18, I noticed that the bike just felt a lot more planted on the ground than it usually would do. And the first track that I tried was actually TC's The Warehouse track, but I'd done it on his sand track out the back of the warehouse. And I was using the mid-soft tyres, which usually are the Proboso stock ones, but again, they've changed the values of these tyres, and the bike itself felt so good. Like, it felt like I was actually in the sand and I could power round a corner smoothly through the sand, rather than just feel like I'm on top of it and skating on top of it. And it's a really hard feeling to try and get across, but it seems like I was really being rewarded for being a little bit slower into the corner, getting on the power early and rolling it on and following the corner as smoothly as I could. And it was so rewarding. You could carry so much more momentum around the track as a whole, because I feel like on beta 17 you never truly have momentum, especially on sand, whereas beta 18, once you've got that speed going and you're riding smoothly, you can kind of keep it up and just keep going really smooth and really fast around the whole thing. The whips themselves, they felt a little bit different, not crazy different, and I tried doing some third-person whips as well just to see if I could see a physical difference. And the best way of me explaining it, I think, really is, on beta 17, I feel like if you was to do a normal whip, your back end steps out to the side, and then as it returns, it kind of comes back in a straight line, which is a little bit unnatural, whereas now the whip kind of goes out in the same way, if not a little bit further, but then the wheel kind of arcs its way back round, more of like a natural curve rather than it unrealistically just coming back straight. It's, again, very weird thing to try and word for you, but hopefully you can kind of see a little bit of difference on screen with the whips. They just feel a lot more fluid, a lot more natural. They come back a tiny bit different, but of course you can still go way over the top and have no chance of saving some of them. Now, throughout this testing process, I switched back and forth between the 17 and 18 bikes and tyres a whole bunch of times, just trying to really feel all the minute details. But I'll kind of compare it to a few years back when I got my 2021 YZ250F in real life. Before that, I had a 2009 YZ250F, and it's really hard to say what they do better, but they do everything a little bit better, and that was the same here. Like, the bike just felt really nice, and I felt like I could push a lot harder. There's one line on Walnut where you kind of hit this inside rut and you've got a little triple coming out of this corner. And usually on a 125, any 125 to be honest, not even the YZ, which is usually underpowered, it's usually a really difficult jump to try and hit. You have to carry so much speed in the corner and hit the corner absolutely perfectly. But I hit it literally first time vasking on this Beta 18 bike, and I think it's because of how smooth the corner is. You don't really lose that traction at all once you're in there, and again, it's really smooth around the whole. Like, you feel like you've taken one corner. It feels smooth in one curve rather than the bike getting really twitchy and jolty and standing itself up, which recently, I'm not sure the reason, but yeah, recently on Beta 17, I feel like the bikes have been twitchier than ever, but it's so nice where the bike feels really planted to the ground and smooth and rewarding for taking the corners properly. I did try dabbling in some Supercross a little bit. Jesse mentioned that I should give it a go. However, there's not really that many Supercross tracks that the YZ125 can go around convincingly well. I tried, which one was it? I tried the SX test track made by Fat Muppet, and that one was actually quite enjoyable once I got a bit of a flow going, and it handles whoops really well. I'm not sure if that's just a one-off and the whoops on this track are super easy, but it seems to handle the whoops absolutely lovely, and rough stuff in general, the bike seems to skim across a lot easier as long as you stay on the power. I feel like if you shut off the power, obviously if you get on the brakes or off the power hard over some rough stuff, you're going to get twitchy. So as long as you're riding a bit more realistically and keeping just that slight bit of power on the entire time over the rough, the bike tracks through it really nicely, and it's really, really fun. Now obviously this is a very, very small sample size, just using this one bike. However, first impressions are a massive thing for me, and the bike, again, it feels so nice. If all of the OEMs feel like this, with all of the different like tyre options and mappings and this, that and the other, especially with the updated suspensions and just the bike's handling in general, if they're all like this, I can't understate how big this is going to be for this game. And I've said it in a previous video before, I think once the Beta 18 OEMs actually drop, I think we're going to reach a new high in terms of player base on this game. I think the game's going to be completely revitalised. Beta 18 drop itself done that a little bit, but obviously we've had the Beta 17 OEMs for a very, very long time. I don't have dates or release dates or anything like that. It's been kept very, very hush-hush. I've just had the pleasure of being able to test out this one bike and kind of show it off for you guys. So I'm in limbo as much as you guys are. I'm super excited for it. I'm very happy with what I've seen so far. I think the guys have been doing an absolutely amazing job, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts. I've tried to do a few side-by-sides throughout this video so you can kind of visually see. It's a very hard thing to try and explain how a bike feels. I think when it's visual it's much easier. But that'll do it from me. I hope you've enjoyed. If you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, I would greatly appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.